My name is Mayanthi. I am the founder of Serendib Creative, and I am a multidisciplinary artist. My primary art form is through murals, but I also do children's book illustrations, graphic design work, and I design apparel. I'm really excited to announce the Serendib Embers Micro-Grant program. This program is designed to reinvest money back into the community to help artists and community members work together to make our communities better. Going back to before I was even a full-time artist, I did a lot of work in the community. So I did community advocacy work through nonprofits, I worked in youth development organizations and in higher education, and I felt like I was always taking action around advocacy. When I transitioned to being a full-time artist, while there were very clear avenues of advocacy, for example, murals are definitely a public health method. They brighten spaces, brighten people's moods when they see them, and they're a really great opportunity to raise awareness about different topics. About midway through last year, any money that I was bringing into the business, I would save a percentage of it. And by the end of the year, I was really excited to see that I had saved enough money to give out 3 grants. That's when kind of all of this started forming, and I realized what I wanted to give back, or how I wanted to give back. And that has everything to do with reinvesting back into the community. Y'all invested in me as a business because of my vision and my purpose, and now I want to give back to our communities. The purpose of the Serendib Embers Micro-Grant is to utilize community-driven cross-sector partnerships that use art as an integral tool to foster collaboration, connection, and community well-being. I envision these projects helping shape a community where artists are integral parts of the solutions to issues in our communities. The word embers, and why this grant is named the Embers Micro-Grant, is because I think that there is this fire that all of us have inside of us, these ideas, these things that we want to do that could make our communities better, and we just need something to kind of ignite it. And I hope that this grant will be something that ignites those little fires in all of us to make our communities better. This grant is unique to me because I wanted to focus on cross-sector partnerships. So you do not need to be an artist to apply for this. You can be an artist and apply for this. The purpose is that there are 2 components of the application. So there is the person who's applying and the community organization or the artist that you're working with. So each application will have like the individual who is applying plus a letter of commitment from the other party. The second part is sustainability. So in your application, you will need to answer what your sustainability plan is for your project. Now, these are micro grants, so they're not gonna have funding enough to sustain a lifelong program, right? But I think that it is important that part of your work is focused on what happens after the grant period, what happens after the money runs out, how can you reinvest some of that into keeping the program going, or having those seeds planted, but then having other community members continue to nourish them so that they can grow in the future. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about is just the mentorship and the community development that is a byproduct of the grant. So if you are selected as a grantee, you will get 2 one-on-one sessions with me or someone else that is relevant to your project, and you will get to kind of brainstorm and ask questions and develop the program. Once you're a grantee, you're a part of this community, so as we continue to host more grants or give out more grants throughout the years, you and your project will continue to be a part of our network. And so, for example, if next year someone else applies for a program or has a project that is related to your grant, I will connect y'all. Maybe you could potentially be a mentor, but ultimately you will have access to all of the resources going forward with your project. For so long when I was growing up and going through my public health work, and even when I became a full-time artist, there were so many situations where I would have these really big ideas, really good ideas that I felt like could really make a change in the work that I was doing, but I lacked the funding, or I lacked the support or network to be able to make that happen because it stepped outside of the typical line of work that I was doing. So I want to create opportunities for folks that do have those ideas, that are sitting on them, that just need that extra bit of support. I want this to serve as that, to help people recognize that their ideas, their visions, if they want to make their communities better, there are people that are willing to invest in them. So essentially creating the opportunities that I didn't have, in hopes that there can be more community advocates that come from this and recognize that their ideas, their vision, their efforts can make a difference. So if you are 18 years or older and you live in the Triangle, you can apply for this grant. You do not have to be an artist, you just have to work with an artist or artists. You can be an artist as the main person applying for the grant. You just need to have a community organization that you're working with as well. Furthermore, this is not just for muralists or, fine arts painters or any of the work that I do. If you are a poet, if you are in theater, if you are a musician, a videographer, a photographer, or you want to work with any of those folks, please, all of those projects, all of those different forms of art are encouraged to be a part of this, because all different forms will help in many different ways in this community development. So if you have a project or a program that is brand new, so an idea you've been sitting on, you have the community partners or you have the artists ready with you, we want to fund that. We want to help you launch that program. We want to help you sow the seeds and then nourish them so that it grows into something that is sustainable. But also, if you already have a program going and it's evolving and you want to take it to the next level, but you need that little bit of funding to help you get there, also apply. We are looking for all types of projects at all different stages. We just want to make sure that we are emphasizing and supporting good programs, making our communities better. So the grant will open on February 26th. The applications will be through my website, and I'll have all the information up there for you. The application period will go through April 17th. Then there will be a couple weeks, and on April 30th is when I will announce the first Serendib Embers Micro-Grant awardees. And my goal is that these projects will run through December 31st. So the idea is that you will have completed your projects by December 31st, and then there is a final report due at the end of it, and that will be due on January 15th. But if your project happens to wrap up earlier than that, you can certainly finish your final report before then.